All right, welcome everybody. I'm Jeff Hullinger, your affable host here, playing ringleader and messenger here on this time that we spend with Neal Boortz, with Clark Howard, and with the one and only Herman Cain, who joins us as well. And guys, let's talk a little bit about economics in the United States at this point. The R word is not uttered by those in the administration. However, it is by a lot of people in flyover country. Are we in the midst, or are we not, in a recession?
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes. No.
Yes.
By definition, Clark, we are not. You can't make up your own definitions. We've had 2 straight quarters of positive growth. You have to have 2 straight quarters of negative growth to have a recession. We're
sure
not
do.
in a recession.
Now, let me elaborate on the no. Clark, then we'll give you the floor, since
Okay.
Neal and I agree.
Yeah.
The reason that the administration does not use the R word is because there are 3 economies: the national, the local, and the personal. So what has happened is the liberal leaders in Washington have demagogued the idea of recession because some people are in a personal recession, but the national economy is not in a recession.
That is a beautiful definition, except, I don't play that Republican Democratic stuff.
Wait, Clark, here you go using labels.
You started it. You're the one who said
No, he said national, local, and personal. That's not a label.
No, but when
and then
said,
I said, let me repeat,
Okay.
because see, you have the same problem that some of my callers have. And don't take it personal, though.
What, a
Clark.
rectal cranial inversion?
I said,
how did you know I had one of those?
I said the Democratic leaders.
Okay.
Okay, the Democratic leaders. And I don't qualify all Democrats the same. I'm talking specifically about Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats in Congress, Harry Reid, that leadership. They are convincing some people that the whole nation is in shambles because of some individual personal recession.
And usually because of their own individual personal decision making.
Yes.
All right. Well, I want to say this. We are not in a bad way in this country. I want to make that point very clear, that we are actually doing pretty well considering all the problems that are on the table. We are at basically scratch. If you take inflation into account, we are maybe slightly at negative economic growth, which is a fancy way of saying our economy is declining, but it's minuscule, and it's so minor that I think that this is actually good in a time that we have very, very bad things lining up.
I totally agree with that statement, Clark.
But the ultimate barometer as to economic times in the United States generally, and I say that generally, is residential real estate. And whether you're in Florida or California or Georgia or Indiana or Pennsylvania or Colorado, there are so many for sale signs in front of houses these days. Is that not the true, sign that we are indeed in a recession?
No. Sorry, Jeff.
I can't believe we got 3
Listen
no's.
to that. But I can say this, and Herman, you alluded to this, as far as how consumers feel. We are absolutely in a consumer recession.
In the
100%.
minds of some, not all, in the minds of some consumers.
And this hyped up mortgage crisis, Clark, take a WAG or a swag, your choice. You know the
What?
difference between a WAG and a swag?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
A WAG is a wild-ass guess. A swag is a scientific wild-ass guess. Now, what percentage of all outstanding home mortgages in this country are in foreclosure right now?
Oh, it's under 2%.
It's under a 0.5%.
Well, it depends on how you define foreclosure.
No,
We
you
need Bill
define it
Clinton to
as
define
you
what-
define
what's
it
the
as
definition of
the
is, but-
foreclosure notice has been sent out. You're in default. We're going to foreclose. It's not a crisis.
It is a crisis.
No, you have people out there that borrowed more money than they could pay back to buy homes they could not afford. You had a lending industry that was kowtowed, that was scared to death by newspapers like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in their redlining series of about 10 years ago. Oh, we'd better start bringing these on the edge borrowers into the home market, or we're going to be regulated out of existence. And then you have investors that thought that real estate prices would rise at double-digit figures for the rest of their lives. They're taking a hit. They deserve to take a hit.
Neal,
Big deal.
I cannot disagree with more of what you said. I mean, I can't think about another time that I disagree more strongly with what you said. It was not any newspaper that drove banks, brokerage houses, hedge funds, and the others to do absolutely idiotic, moronic lending in this country, where all you had to do was be able to breathe and they would lend you money. And we got into this because there were people foolish enough to lend folks money, and there were people foolish enough to take that money.
Agreed.
But what drove them to that? It was the liberal
Greed.
media
Wrong.
screaming and yelling about there's not enough minority loans, there's
No.
not enough loans to low-income people.
No. Neal,
What in the hell is this greed stuff? You can't even define greed.
I'm not going to get into one of your
Come on.
high
Let's
school
have it.
debate
Come on.
arguments
Come
about
on.
what greed is.
Come on, let's have a definition
now,
of greed.
Now,
Okay,
while,
Herman,
you all,
Herman.
while you all get your definitions of greed together,
He
I
doesn't
want to
have
correct.
one.